Hello, Age of Empires 2 fans. Quick little update here on Titans League Silver. If you've been following the event, if you've been following my content specifically on this channel, the Extras channel where you're watching this now, first off, thank you. I've been putting way more time and effort into the whole silver thing that I expected initially, quite frankly, because it's hooked me as well. Not that I wasn't expecting that, but anyways, I've just been going crazy with games leading up towards the holidays. There will still be more sets that I've covered coming to the Extras channel because we can't, upload like 8 sets a day or something. But what this video is spoilers and an update on what the finals, what the deciders basically look like. So there will be 9 best of 5s remaining, and the winner of those best of 5s will go into Gold League to fill the relegated spots, all right? So full clarification again, we're going to have some sets coming if you really want to watch some of my casts. However, we're going to talk about the results right now. Let's get into it. First and foremost, we have Lix versus iBuyPower, also known as Brave Bear. I did cover the Ozone and Syscon series from the first round. I also did cover Uzi Kamigawa and then Uzi versus Brave Bear. The Uzi versus Brave Bear series was incredible, but Lix has just been dominating. And Lix is going to be my favorite here in this best of 5. I believe he was the favorite when I did the prediction video like a month ago. But it will be interesting because I was really impressed with Brave Bear. And I really feel like if he gets to the mid game, he could beat anyone within silver. Like, he looks really good. So best of 5 between those two, I'm leaning towards Lix. In Group B, I wasn't actually able to cover too much of this. I think I did cover RMQ versus Kongan in the first round. Kongan, unfortunately, was unable to play his series against Lan, where he was probably the underdog in the second. So Lan moves on. Lan has not lost a game yet. Lan, a former top 10 player from 2 years ago. Good to see him back in business. And he will go in as the favorite in my eyes versus Philip, who beat Andre, 2K2 Romanian player, 3-2 in what was apparently an incredible series there. So that'll be an exciting series. Group C has me super pumped. So we've got Beery making his way through. Beery hasn't lost a game yet. Beery, kind of a player who's known as a little bit of a one-trick pony on the ladder with like the Mongols, Gurjaras, Vil rushing with Berbers, Poles, things like that. He beat Keller 2-0, and then he beat Noisik 3-0, and it's on a bunch of mixed maps as well. He has played incredibly good. He's going to be up against Derp, who had a crazy series against Stray Dog. And it's a tough one for me to predict, but I'm going to lean a little bit more towards Derp, only because Derp, as I said well before this whole thing started, I think he's experienced on a lot of mixed maps, and settings like this can suit him. But should be a banger because Beery hasn't lost a game yet. Crazy stuff. In Group D, we're going to have Hart versus Jibitong. These are just two monsters who haven't lost games yet. Jibitong used to be in the top 20, top 30 conversation. Hart the same. Both players kind of fell out of favor, fell out of activity with Age of Empires for a period, and are coming back now. So like Silver League and Titans League in general is just like the perfect type of situation for players like this. Neither player is going to want to face up against each other at that position. I can guarantee it. Going to lean towards Hart, though. He's got the big name experience, and I think he's got the better skill that we'll obviously have to see. In Group E, there were a few upsets, one of which, me getting smashed by this Uzi Cody guy from France. Uzi Cody then ended up moving on and losing to Gabby, who's looked really good. Gabby, the only female in silver, and Gabby, many people might see as a little bit of a favorite possibly versus Husiel, but I personally am still leaning a little bit more towards Husiel, though I haven't seen any of his games yet, so that's where it gets tricky for me, but he's just had a greater peak. Exciting best of 5 here because for both of these two, it will be like whoever wins, it's going to be their best result probably in competitive Age of Empires ever, with lots more opportunity, of course, in gold if they make it. So exciting series in Group E. In Group F, we had some awesome sets. I did cover Tamate versus Survivalist, which produced some good games. But as predicted, Mihai just rolled through Tamate, and I think Mihai can roll through everybody in this group. He did, however, do a lot of training with El Matador. I noticed that they practiced together before I think the groups were announced. And I think El Matador took quite a few games. So both very active players on the ladder. Still going to lean a little bit more towards Mihai just because he's been taking games off of bigger names and ranked games and has about like a 200 elo advantage there. But they know each other well. It's a best of 5, so anything can happen between those two. Then we move along to Group G, where we have Bad Koala versus White Court. I've always been a big fan of White Court. I feel like he's a tremendous player. He 3-0'd Clement, who was in Gold League the first season. Now, granted, he got relegated out, of course, but still, White Court beating a Gold League player like that's pretty impressive. Bad Koala does have that Gold League talent. He does have that pedigree. So both of these, like this series is probably going to be so high level, man. And it's hard for me to predict. I'm going to lean more towards Bad Koala because I think Bad Koala is a little bit better on like the map pool. I think that he's going to be able to pull out the stops a bit more frequently in some of the maps, but that's just like pulling at straws pretty much. Bad Koala from China and White Court from Chile in Group G, best of 5. This next one I'm really excited about. Another thing to add to my list of sets I'm disappointed I couldn't cast was Samaro versus Arg. For full perspective here, I did cover Arg versus God of the Godless, and I thought he looked super good. But then also, a couple months ago, he beat Slam, a top player in a best of 3. And it just every time I've seen him and even played him myself, he's looked stronger and stronger. So Arg lost 3-2 to Samaro in a back and forth series. And I said in my prediction video that I think that Samaro is like a really good player to be able to like play in mixed map settings. He's a very prepared player. If you look at like some of the civs here, it felt like every civilization that he had just really, really matched up on the map too. Like I think his drafter was going to be really sound. And this player's name from Vietnam on the other side is Hope. And Hope has moved through here pretty comfortably. I mean, winning 2-1 in the best of 3 isn't that comfortable, but 3-1 then in the best of 5 is not bad. I'm going to lean towards Samaro on this one just because I have so much faith in this guy, and I feel like Arg was a much tougher task here than maybe Blackheart here, but we'll see. And then the final one, guys, the final best of 5, possibly the one that people are going to get the most excited for, is Overtaken versus Huang. Overtaken has absolutely dominated every game he's played. The games have not been close to my knowledge. Beating Eli, up-and-coming American player, then beating El Naniro, who's been doing pretty good on the ladder recently. Anyways, Overtaken versus Huang is a fun series because you've got Huang, who has like this all-in Castle Age style, but then you have Overtaken, who's really aggressive, really feudal into a strong Castle Age. So I think it's going to be an aggressive series. I think that Overtaken's my strong favorite. Remember, the reason that he's even here is because he was in the group of death in the first season of Gold, where he was in a group with Sato, Daniel, Kingston, and Sebastian. And now you've got Sato, Kingston, and Sebastian promoted to Platinum in the top 24. He was 5th, one game behind Daniel of all people, which is why he got relegated out. So, I mean, he showed in the first season how good he is. He already played on all those maps before, and he hasn't lost a game yet. I'm excited to see this series, but it could actually be like a 3-0 or 3-1 for Overtaken against Huang, and it could be pretty dominant. The final thing I'll say on it, though, is that Huang has done a really good job at proving me wrong, and he's shown like a really tenacious mindset. He lost the first game in that best of 3 and then had to win 2 straight and made it happen. And then he, at one point, was behind 2-1 and had to win 2 straight in this best of 5 and made it happen. He's definitely shows some cracks in the armor. Like Huang is Huang. He's not meta. There's certain aspects of his play that makes me scream at times. But then he just turns around and smashes people. Being behind by 25 eco in the final game and somehow beating Nahwell is just like only a Huang thing that you can do. So we'll look out for that. Anyways, in terms of my plans for coverage, guys, I will be casting every single one of these best of 5s. I'll be covering them on the 30th, 31st, and the 1st. So that's December into January. It is possible I may need to cover like 1 or 2 of them on the 2nd. So it'd be like a 4-day span where I'm casting these. All of these will still come to the extras channel. Best individual games will go to the main channel. So kind of like the normal schedule there. And we'll do our best at uploading as quickly as possible so you guys can get the content on YouTube if you're not able to make the streams. That's pretty much it. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts on my predictions and have any, sets that you're excited for and which players you're rooting for, etc. I'd love to read the comments. But thanks a lot very much, guys, especially for supporting just Silver League, right? Like Silver League in some people's eyes are seen as much worse, but in my eyes, it's been just as exciting because it's so cool to see these talents really try and earn their spot in Gold and see a true path for their success. And The motivation's been there. Trust me. I've heard from a lot of players, a lot of people talking to me about it. And then there's also the disappointment on the other side for players who've lost in like the first or second round, myself included. But again, the exciting thing about that is that gives them some hunger. And the next season will be right around the corner, of course. So thanks, everybody. I'll see you next time. And enjoy T90 Titans League.